they are up there
Right.
with doctors.
Right.
Like, you are top people. You
Yes,
are highly esteemed and
because-
regarded. Why is it that here in the United States
You're babysitters,
we're babysitters? We don't have any. We have very
Parents.
little respect.
parents.
We have the country as a whole has very little respect for teachers, and there's nothing more aggravating than when you have to listen to politicians or anybody with any type of money
Right.
stand up at a microphone and say how teachers they never forget their teacher, and teachers, and if it wasn't for their teachers,
Yeah,
then
right.
blah 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 blah.
All right.
Teachers teach. Well, maybe you should act on that. Do something for the teachers one time,
Well,
and maybe we'll believe the words that are coming out of your mouth.
Well, and I think one of the real problems there is there's too much politics involved, and I guess I guess the problem is we should have never gotten the NEA, and I don't think we should have ever gone national with education. I think we should have left it to the states, although I understand why it happened because they were remiss in doing their job.
I think that it's good that we went national because there were problems.
There were problems.
And I think that it should stay national. I
Right.
think that the states have not been consistent in
Right.
in educating students. They
Okay.
have not. Let's not even pretend that they are.
Right.
You go into any southeastern state, that
Right.
education is not the same quality that you're going to get up north.
Okay.
And that's because of some rules and regulations and
Okay.
policies and procedures. Some of it has to do with the caliber of student and the
Right.
lack of parental involvement, but
Big time.
still there is huge discrepancies.
Okay.
If every child in the United States was getting the same consistent education,
Right.
test scores in California
Right.
should not be vastly different than the ones in Florida, and should not be vastly different than the ones in New York or Illinois or Wyoming.
Right, but another
they
thing
are.
But another thing that comes into that is, especially out there in Hollywood, out there in California, you got so many illegal immigrants, and you got so many people that are pulling those numbers down, you know, and that hurts. Their numbers. In other words, listen, we have such until this may sound crazy, but until we actually control the borders, we're really going to have these problems continue. And we've got for whatever reason, whether it's because they want to have the workers for the farms or whatever the reason is, you can even talk to people that have gone through the problem of becoming citizens properly, and they don't like illegal immigration because they've done the right thing. They've taken the time. They've done what's necessary. Now, that's nothing to do with education.
It doesn't.
But the point I wanted to throw at you about the No Child Left Behind, and what I was going to say, if we're going to label Republicans and Democrats, because you want to keep in mind that the Democrats and the unions are always running around saying it's for the kids, and it's not.
No, there are
It
still
is
there are
absolutely
still
not
their
for the kids. It's
problems.
for power.
Yeah, it's
And
there's
they
still
had one of their
problems
guys
with
admitted it.
either side. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So and that's the point I wanted to bring out.
But if you look in the last 10, 15 years, most of the I'll say this, it seems that Ronald Reagan, that administration, and when they brought out and I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Okay.
But there's an education report that happened there, and they had it right. There was a problem with the education in the United States. The culture was changing,
Right.
and we needed to change, and we weren't.
Right.
But
The results of that report.
right,
were
the
the
results,
problem.
yeah, is that we didn't implement anything.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do, don't I?
But consistently, if you look, the states that are having huge education problems,
Right.
right now that are mostly in the forefront,
Right.
all have Republican governors.
Well, and
I'm
unfortunately,
not, and I'm not saying that it's all that it's all the Republicans' fault, but
what they're fighting,
when you look at from a teacher's perspective,
right?
most of the time teachers will vote Democrat
Yes.
because they tend to have the better education plan.
Well,
When you compare, not everything. I'm not looking at gun control and health insurance or anything, but when you look at education, you compare apples to apples.
Right.
The Democrats will usually have the better plan, and you can't fault us for voting with something that whatever. Now, I'm not saying all teachers do,
Right.
but don't be surprised if you ask a teacher, say, "Do you vote Republican, Democrat?" and they'll say Democrat.
But part of the reason that those Republican governors are having these problems is because they are fighting with demands from teachers' unions. You know, one of the biggest problems with the teachers' unions is not only do they, or let me not say it that way. Let me say the fact that they demand, and I think it's more the perks than anything else. that you've got to buy insurance through their companies, and you have to collect the dues. That's what Wisconsin is really about. That's what all of this stuff that's going on with the unions in all of the states, what they are really upset about is the one thing, and this is the only thing they care about. They are changing that the state is not going to collect the money automatically. That's what this is about. Because you see, the reason that the public service unions, and I guess teachers are part of that, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
we are public
The
employees.
reason that's
you can look up my personnel file.
right.
You can look up a personnel file, request it with written request of any public employee in
Okay.
any state because
Okay.
we are public employees.
Okay, so let me just. Oh God. Okay, so the thing is, and we talked about this too. The problem with the public service unions is that they negotiate a contract with an official that is elected with money that is provided by those unions.
Right, there is,
okay.
and I've said that before.
I
There
know
are some
we've
issues
talked about
with
this,
that.
and that's why they're really upset, because what's going to happen is as soon as the state isn't the collection agency anymore, they're going to find a lot of they're going to have to work to get that money. Right now, it's like income tax; they just take it. If you had to write that check at the end of the year, you would be really unhappy with it, because you have to write a check for $2,000, whatever it is. Wow! But when they just take it out, well, it's okay. We're going to just take this out for you. We're going to take this. So that's what they're really upset about. Oh, but the point that I wanted to make before about the No Child Left Behind and the Republic, they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Okay, and I think that was what I was going to say to you if you
I
really
think
beat me up.
the
I would've-
intentions were good, but
But if they
everyone
weren't
said, okay, No Child Left Behind.
Great.
That's it. Nobody
Right.
said.
What's in this?
Yeah, the teacher said what's in it.
Yeah, because you
but-
were expected to implement it.
and
It's
nobody
like,
asked us.
Right. It's like I was in.
Because if you asked any of us back then, we would have been like,
That's right.
that's not a good
See,
idea.
and that never. If you
Not a
do
good
not,
idea.
if you do not speak to the people that have to implement
Right.
what you're saying, you're never in a good state. We've even experienced that at one of the places that I've worked,
Mm-hmm.
where people have said, "You're going to do this," and then we didn't speak to anybody that had to do it, and all of a sudden they found out this was the worst idea they could have possibly had.
Bad ideas.
Bad
All the
ideas.
time.
And
It's 22 minutes.
okay. Oh, now, we spoke weeks ago about music. And she said she really wasn't into country songs because they're basically about cars and dogs and stuff like that. And I
Really not a
found,
big country fan.
right, not a country music fan, I found a song called Saddle in the Sun that I wrote 41 years ago. This is long before you were even running around out here, okay? 41 years ago.
Yeah, that was.
And I took it out, I brought it out, and some people that liked The Wizard came down to Disney. And one of the things they wanted me to do while they were down there was go over and sing for them.
That's
Okay,
nice.
now I hadn't brought this song out, and for some reason, I don't even know why, I started playing it the other day. Jesus, it's a nice song, you know? And I remembered our conversation on Country Western. So here is a song called Saddle in the Sun. It is not about trucks and stuff like that.
Thank God.
And that's the reason it blew me away. I said, wow, this is not a song like that. Now, we're going to do what time, we're okay, we're in great shape. Okay, so I have already recorded it,
Okay.
videotaped it,
Fantastic.
cut it, and put it into the show.
Nice.
Where it's supposed to be.
Awesome.
Okay, so, excuse me, for those of you who would like to hear a country western song that is not about trucks,
and
dogs,
dogs and
and cheating
heartbreak,
wives
yeah.
and stuff like that, get ready, because that's not what Saddle in the Sun is about. And I hope you enjoy it. Now, we should say goodnight, because what I figured we'd do, we'll let the song end. You'll see why when you see the song.
Okay.
We'll just let it go out, okay? So we'll see you next week. We will continue whatever we talk about then. And I hope that you enjoy the show. I thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Very welcome.
Okay, and, here's one. Even if it's a little tiny thing, do something to make the world a better place to be. Oh, bye. Traveled now for 16 years and still I am alone. It seems that I'm about the only friend I've ever known. But I'm riding in the saddle with the sun, and I'll be leaving here tomorrow when I'm done. I don't know why I let them come and take my little girl. I never left her lonely, 'cause to me she was my world. But the 16 years, they've traveled now and gone, and she's no longer in the spot I had my home. They told me now the time had come, she'd have to go to school. And living in this home without her ma just wasn't good. She was 5, she said that she'd return, but it took me 7 years to finally learn that she had been rewarded with the loan of parents in a rich New England home. So I sold my farm and I headed out to bring her back to me. But the road was hard and I lost most things. I drank up quite a sea. And then on the day when I finally did arrive, I saw that she was happy. So I lied, and I said I was an uncle of her friends. And then I headed back out down the road again. So I've traveled now for 16 years and still I am alone. It seems that I'm about the only friend I've ever known. But I'm riding in the saddle with the sun, and I'll be leaving here tomorrow when I'm done. I'm riding in the saddle with the sun, and I'll be leaving here tomorrow when I'm done.